All right, welcome back to tipsmatter.com. My name's Curtis. We are sponsored by Opa Greek Seasoning. If you haven't got your Opa, get out there and get it. You can get it on Amazon.com. They'll deliver right to your doorstep. If you don't want to do that, you live in Missouri, Illinois, or Kansas, you can check your spices section of your grocery stores there first. Once again, Opa Greek Seasoning. They don't have it. Just go to Amazon. You know how it is. Everybody's got Prime. NFL makes you have Prime. And because of that, they'll deliver overnight to your door. So, all right, here we go. First things first, where have I been? Well, let's see, 2 weeks ago yesterday, I'm driving home from work and I started not to feel the best and woke up really struggling on Wednesday. And then, long story short, couldn't even go to, let's see, where'd she go? I think Jacksonville for a hockey tournament. Couldn't go. I was so sick. Finally went to the doctor Sunday. Anyway, I had COVID for the fourth time, which it's just the flu, but it's COVID. So that's why you're so tired. It's just a different variation of the flu. And then I also had influenza B. So I had it. I was literally down for the count from that Tuesday until Thursday. I really had to get back. So I had been 9 days. I had really been out, not feeling the best. I went from 204 to 188. I needed to stay sick a little longer because I'm still a fat bleep. But yeah, finally kind of better, but you might hear me cough on here a little bit here and there. Still fighting that. And now my daughter's got it. So she's sick as a dog. She got it Sunday evening and she is already down for the count. So this is like day 3 or 4. They did say I would be down and out for about 3 weeks, but you know what? You got to get back to work and do your stuff. So, that's where I was. I'm sorry I wasn't on here. It was kind of crazy, but I am back to preview the Super Bowl. I've got a few bets in there as well, especially on MVP. There's no value on the quarterbacks, that's for sure, but let's go through it. Right now, Seattle's favored by 4.5. The over-under is 45.5. I think that's the right number. To be honest, I think it's a 24-21 game, a 24-20 game, something in that margin. To be honest, if I have to pick the score, I'm going to say somebody wins 24-19. They go for 2 to cut it to a field goal late, and they don't make the 2. So I'm going 24-19. Flip a coin on who wins it. But to be honest with you, I'm kind of on the Patriots. I think they're going to make Darnold and Seattle one-dimensional. I think that New England defense is underrated. That run defense is legit. No one can even get to 50 yards. One of the best bets on the board to me is Kenneth Walker under on rushing yards. I think New England's going to do a good job of they'll be able to keep them in check. People aren't talking about this. And I don't care about the snow game and Stidham and Peyton screwed up, whatever. New England's allowing 8.5 points a game in the playoffs. That is legit D. And it's not like they didn't play anybody. They played the Chargers, right? They went to Denver and won. So they beat Houston. So, excuse me. What can you say? I'm kind of on New England in the under. I'll get to a little more of that, but let's cover the Seahawks real quick. Seahawks are 16-3 this year. Their losses were to San Francisco to open the year. That was a home loss. In fact, they lost 17-13 at home in week 1. Then they lost 38-35 at home to Tampa. And then they lost 21-19 at the Rams. So those are their 3 losses. But let's go through their wins. At Pittsburgh, not a good win. New Orleans, not a good win. Arizona, not a good win. Jacksonville, okay. But to me, the light bulb for Trevor Lawrence hadn't come on yet. If you go back and look at Jacksonville's schedule, it really didn't click until the second half of the year with Lawrence with Cohen. So that Jacksonville loss, ho-hum to me. They did beat Houston 27-19 at home. Not a bad win, but look, C.J. Stroud, he's one of the worst quarterbacks in football we figured out. They beat Washington. They beat Arizona. Not good wins. They beat Tennessee 30-24. Not a good win. They shut out Minnesota, but who doesn't when J.J. McCarthy's your quarterback, or Max whatever? I think it was that other guy who I don't even know his name, and it doesn't matter, Brosmer or something. Atlanta they beat. They beat Indy 18-16, and that was with Phillip Rivers as a quarterback. He can't even throw across my lanai. They beat the Rams by 1 when they went for 2 in Week 16. They win at Carolina, and then they beat San Fran for the number 1 seed on the last day of the year. In the divisional round, after getting the bye, they throttle San Francisco, and then they squeak by the Rams. So what? Seattle has maybe 3 good wins. I understand that he's good, but if in all seriousness, who have they played besides the Rams? They really haven't played anybody. So they're 16-3, good for the Seahawks. You can only play who's in front of you. But in my opinion, they haven't beaten anyone. So I don't understand getting more than a field goal, being favored by more than a field goal if you're Seattle. For the Patriots, how bad does week 1 look for the Patriots now? They lose to Las Vegas 20-13 at home to open the season. A bad loss just like Seattle to open the year at home. But then they beat Miami, not a big win. They lose to Pittsburgh. So at one point, the Patriots are 1-2. They are now 17-3. They've won 16 of their last 17, folks. That means something. May's got confidence as long as he's healthy, and I'm hoping we get more info on that as the week progresses here with that shoulder. I am on New England. They beat Carolina. They beat Buffalo. Don't care what anybody says. That's a good win, especially at Buffalo. Beat the Saints. Beat Tennessee, who Seattle barely beat as well. Cleveland they beat. Atlanta. Tampa at Tampa. The Jets. Cincy. That's a good win. 26-20. They beat the Giants. They did lose to Buffalo in Week 15. That's their last loss. Then they beat Baltimore, the Jets, and Miami. So really, what do they have? 2, 3 good wins as well? But in my opinion, in the playoffs, they beat the Chargers 16-3. They beat Houston 28-16, and they beat Denver 10-7. Folks, let me tell you, that defense is legit. Those are 3 good teams. Don't tell me. That Houston D was legit. If Houston as an organization cared about everybody in that organization except for C.J. Stroud, I think Houston's playing for the Super Bowl. But because the Houston Texans put C.J. Stroud above everybody else in that organization, and they don't put Davis Mills in at halftime, that is why Houston is golfing in the Bahamas and they're watching the Super Bowl on TV and they're not in there because they only care about one person in that organization, no other players, and you cannot convince me otherwise. Houston only cares about C.J. Stroud, which is an absolute joke and an embarrassment to say the least. So, like I said, spreads 4.5. Give me New England plus 4.5 and a little bit of money line as well. And I do like the under. I haven't bet that, but it's 45.5. Here are the couple that I like. For long shot MVPs, look, we're not dumb. 7 out of the last 9 MVPs have been quarterbacks. Sam Darnold's plus 125. Drake May's plus 220. I'm going to tell you right now, if the Patriots win this, and let's just say May's beat up a little bit, I do have Ramondre Stevenson at 30-1 to win Super Bowl MVP. Folks, $20 pays $600. I like that bet a lot. I think Stevenson gets multiple touchdowns in this game. You can even, I think Giorgio said he did Stevenson with 2+ touchdowns, and the money line is like 26-1, if I'm not mistaken. So that's pretty good there. The other 2 I have, look, with these defenses, both defenses are very, very good. I do like Jason Myers, the kicker of Seattle, at 100-1. And I have the kicker for New England, Baragalis, whatever his name is, at 250 to 1. Look, $10 is 2,500. If you got Myers, it's 1,000. For $10. I'm telling you, maybe, and I'm still debating. I think I'll pull the trigger on Marcus Jones as well at 100 to 1. And I might even pop off Hunter Henry. I do like having those Super Bowl MVPs, long shots. I just like taking cracks at it. But my favorite bet on the Super Bowl MVP, hands down, is Stevenson at 30 to 1 with Seattle. Look, the writers love the story. They're going to root for Darnold. They're going to vote for Darnold. Somebody's going to have to pick off a couple passes and including take one to the house for Seattle to beat Darnold out. I think New England's going to be able to stop Kenneth Walker in the run. That's just my thinking there. There are a couple other, if you want to put a parlay bet together, I do think they get Travion Henderson involved a little more. New England does. I think you can get over 1.5 receptions or over a half reception. Receiving yards, their weak sauce as well. Let's see if I can get into there real quick. Let me get into those player props. Yeah, I'd love to know what you think. I'm out there on Instagram and X. Love for you to give me a follow there. Just Tips Matter. And I'm looking for, let's see what we have. Let's see, Travion Henderson. Man, over 1.5 receptions for Travion's, plus 160. Look, Seattle gets torn up by backup running backs that can catch the ball out of the backfield. Go look at what the backup running back for the Rams, Blake Corum, did last week to Seattle. Over 2.5 is 4 to 1 for that as well. So it's just a thought on Travion. Looking for the receiving yards here. This is an absolute joke with Travion as well. If you want to do a little parlay, over 3.5 receiving yards. Folks, he's gonna catch one. He loves the screen game. If they get him involved, he can really, I really want to alt bet the receiving yards, to say the least. And I'm looking for the alt lines. I'm looking alt receiving yards. Here we go. How high can we go here? What is Travion? Travion 24.5, over 24.5 is 7.5 to 1. I'm telling you, over 39.5 is 40 to 1. I can see Henderson doing that. I really can. I think they're going to get both running backs involved, especially if Drake's hurt a little bit. They're really going to work and pound the rock a little bit. I think both guys are going to get work, but man, that over 24.5 receiving yards, 7.5 to 1, that's a good number. But even more so, Travion's got speed. He can break one. 41, 10 pays $400. I like that bet a lot. So that's where I'm at. I'd love to know what you think. You can get out there on X and Instagram. It's Just Tips Matter. Get out there. Give us a follow. Once again, I'd love to know your prediction. Who do you have winning the game? Do you have them covering? I know everybody's on Seattle. I'm not joking. Another reason I'm on New England. 12 experts at ESPN. All 12 pick Seattle. And yes, the experts are in quotes, air quotes. So that's ESPN for you. So, all right, folks, thanks for listening to tipsmatter.com. It's good to be back on the air. It's good to slowly but surely be getting healthy. I'm really sorry that I was down and out a little bit. So until next time, give us a little shout out there on justtipsmatter.com. And until next time, don't forget, if you go to a luxury hotel, thank you doesn't pay the bills.